Hey YouTube, this is Wilmot's Rustic Millworks. I'm Tom, and I'm going to show you, it's our first video we're going to post, and this is Michigan cutout that's going to be fractal burned and then filled with colored epoxy. This is obviously the lower peninsula right here. Not going to go too much into the fractal burning other than to show you what it looks like. Anyone that wants to try this, make sure you do your research. It is very dangerous, however, it does do really cool stuff. I have numerous safeguards in there, so you know, from a dead man switch to I never touch it, do anything with it when it's plugged in. It's plugged in right now. I'm standing probably 5 feet behind it, and I'm gonna turn the power onto it, and you'll see it start to burn. And then afterwards, I'll kind of pause for a minute, and that way you can kind of see what it looks like. Anything else? Here it goes. So you can see as it goes, the one side started real quick, the red side we'll call it, started to burn real quick. The black side had a little bit of water pooled on it, so it had to boil through the water first, and then it's lit up. Now these two burns are going towards each other. Obviously with electricity, it's trying to take the path of least resistance, so with the exact same thing, that it wants to reach each other. So you'll get these cool lightning look burns as it's burning towards each other in the hopes that it'll allow it to connect. Normally I stop it just prior to them actually reaching each other, just so that way once you do, you'll notice I'll let this one burn to each other if it makes it before the solution dries out. If it does make it, you'll notice you'll start to get much more flames, a lot more flames, and it'll start to kind of flash a little bit. It'll go whoop, whoop, whoop as it goes, and that's just because you have a positive and negative power reaching each other, and it's trying to continue to burn. So got a nice burn. I try to do, when I do a Michigan one, I try to do one right around kind of where Detroit's at, and then one right where 75 reaches the bridge to go to the UP. And then in the UP one, I try to do one right where 75 picks up after the bridge. That way it kind of looks like 75 going all the way up. Obviously I can't control it, it's just going to go where it wants, and here they go, they're going to connect, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Right there they hit, now they're together. So I'm going to stop it, and excuse the camera jerkiness, but I don't want to juice myself, so I'm going to plug it real quick. Alright, we're unplugged. So now what I do is I kind of just move it. That's why you unplug it, boys and girls, because that would have been a shocking experience. So at this point, I kind of just move it to a different spot. We got a nice burn that goes all the way from the bridge, where the bridge would be, down. Then I try to put another one kind of where Traverse City is, up out over this way. Not exact, because the burns are going to kind of go over, all over. And then one down here a little bit, so you kind of get, my goal is to try to fill this whole area in here that's wide open. I want to have these ones right here where I did the kind of the 75 burn, kind of goes all the way up. Doesn't really follow 75 the way it goes, but you can kind of get the gist of it. That is a really deep burn all the way up. So when I removed all the char and then put it back and fill it with epoxy, it'll be a real thick solid all the way through, compared to these really tiny ones. Hopefully you can see that. Those ones I'll be able to save, and they're going to be really, really thin. All right, now it should still be wet enough that I can just plug it back in and fire it up again. Again, sorry for the camera kind of going everywhere, but all right, plug back in. Now I'm going to reset and hit the dead man switch, and it'll start burning again. Try to get closer on this one. Ready? See there, it's burning. Gets some of that liquid out of there, and then it starts to burn. So the red is kind of spider webbing out. If you look up here, the black one isn't burning quite as well, and that's because it's drier. It kind of rode the side of the state, and now it's coming back up. to where I got a little bit more solution on it. Kind of what I wanted is to hit the edge so it looks like it's going right into the lake, and then burn and wrap around. And you can see the red one is got a really nice burn going right now. It rides right up along, and I'm not going to let these ones join. I'm going to let them get close if they make it, and it looks like it's going to dry out prior to that. So I'm going to cut it off, unplug it. Again, I apologize for the camera going everywhere. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some solution to it. Zoom back out. I'm going to add some of the solution to it so that way it'll fire back up. This really isn't a fractal burning video, but if you have questions on what the solution is and all that good stuff, feel free to contact me and I can kind of help with it. Again, this stuff is really, really dangerous. One mistake and it's lights out for good. One of the groups I'm on Facebook, someone just died 2 days ago from doing this exact same thing. So if you do decide this is something you want to try, please, please, please make sure to do your research. No matter what you do, you can never make it safe to where you can't zap yourself. You can do some things to try to limit the risk involved with it, but no matter what, the risk is great with this. I feel like I've done more than my fair share of research on it, and I feel comfortable with how I do it to where if I get zapped, it's completely, I've done what I could do, and I feel like I've done it fairly safe. One of the things I do, I have 4 kids, and most of my burning I do at night to where when the kids aren't outside. All right, we're going to fire it back up. Plug it back in, and here goes. So you can see with just adding more solution, it starts to take off a little more. So all I'm doing here is filling in some of the voids. Now I don't really want real heavy duty, real deep burns. I kind of want just lighter burns just to fill the holes in between the real deep burns that I already made. Cut the power and move the, if you're curious, that's what it looks like when you get flipped out of my hand. All right, move her over here and then set another one down here and try to finish. So I got move the red. For some reason on this rig that I made, this is about the 5th one I've made. It seems like every one I make, one of the leads has more juice and more power coming to it. And even if I just swip out the handles, which I do often, you get one that has more power going through it. The black one on this one seems to be more powerful, so I want to keep the black one because I want it to go over and try to fill in that. I want the red to kind of branch out to try to fill in that corner. So here we go. We're going to end up joining real quick here. Right. So we've hit it. Unplug her. Put the red up here. Again, every time it's important to unplug it, and it's important to know what you got going on. Actually, I'm going to move the red down here. It just kind of doesn't want to stick. Move the black one up here. And again, all I'm trying to do is fill in these open areas that don't have anything on them. All right, I'm gonna plug it back in, fire it back up. You see that black one, it's doing a kind of a branching out exactly like I want it to try to fill that void that is up there by the thumb. And down below, once technically they've connected now, so that's why you got the big flash, and I'm letting it go just for a little bit. Now I'm going to cut it, unplug it. See, that's why you always unplug it. That was just for me unplugging it and accidentally hitting the reset of my dead man. So you always unplug it. Alright, move this one into the black one over there, and put the red one here. Plug it back in. Here goes. Branching out. Black one is kind of wrapped around the edge, which is alright. There we go, we joined on the edge, so that's been good. So let it go, cut it out, unplug it. I want to fill in really just a little bit more down at the bottom of the stake. And it should be good to go. Apparently I'm gonna have to invest in something different to do the videos, because I'm just bouncing it all over. So I apologize, hopefully you're not thrown up yet. Alright, and here it goes, plug back in, fire it up. Now you can tell that it's pretty dried out. That's why it's taking so much and just barely burning. But I kind of like the little burns like that, how it does that. So I'm going to stop it though, because it's not really doing anything. And up here at the black, it's just kind of sitting there and not branching out. You will see that because it's plywood, you're further through the first layer, and the bottom layer from me soaking it very well is still burning. We actually just completed that completed it all together. So it kind of burned all the way through. So, and that's purely because it's plywood, so you have a real thin veneer on top. That's the actual oak, and then the rest of it is just random stuff that you know, there's glue in between it and stuff, so it holds it. So I burned underneath, which is not, you can't see it, so no good, but it is still made for a pretty cool looking burn up top spot. So really, I'm happy with the way it looks in northern Michigan. I'll probably do a little right here, kind of get that area, and then slide this one out and put one right there. And then, all right, plug it back in, and you can see where it was burned before, where the solution dries real quick. That's just from the heat from before. Plug back in, fire it up. See how you get a really takes off once you put some more solution on it. Right. So now you can see I kind of filled that spot in up top. Unplug it real quick. And then I'm going to move the black one down here so I can fill in the void down in this area. And then put it right down in the tip down there. All right, plug it back in and fire it up. I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out, so I'll probably stop burning here the stake here in a minute. I got the UP left to burn. I'm gonna spare you the video on the UP. But, all right, we're gonna come back down here and do this one little spot down here, and we're going to call her good. Plug it back in, fire it up, just refill that little void. Good. So I'm pretty happy with the way that ended up. I'm gonna, actually I take that back. I'm going to fill in a little bit more right here. And the big thing to remember is you don't have to go crazy when you want to fill it in. Like, I know what's going to happen. When I put the black one right here, I'm going to get it to burn from here, and it's probably going to either go this way a little bit and join in this group burn, and the red will probably go right down here, and it's going to join real quick. but it'll give me, fill that little area up. So here goes, plugged in, reset it, burn, and won't look good. But filled it in a little bit, so I am happy with that. So once I finish the burns, what I do is I will take it off, and then the way you clean these out is you use water and a brush and scrub all the char out. So in the future video, I'll follow this one through. The next step will be adding the color, so stay tuned. That will be probably tomorrow that I fill the color, because when you scrub it out, and it's all wet right now, and when it's scrubbed out it gets even more wet, so you need to let it dry before you're able to put epoxy in it. So in a future video coming up, it'll be the addition of the color and the epoxy itself.